Hello, I'm Lauren with IndoorGardening.com, and today we're going to talk about plants that love to climb. There are a lot of plants out there that their foliage can look way different than it is right now. For example, the heart-shaped leaves that come with a baby monstera, you give that baby something to climb, you're going to see big, beautiful, fenistrated jungle monstrosities. It is incredible to watch. And monstera aren't the only plant to do that. There's a whole bunch more, and we're going to talk about them today so that you can get a feel for the type of plants that are sitting in your collection. Maybe they're just getting bushier and bushier, and maybe they can have a whole other kind of life if you give them something to climb. We do have a video on how to get your plants to climb and all the different things that they can climb right over here, so make sure that you go and watch that when you're done watching this. So we already talked about Monstera, but let's delve into that a little bit more. Monstera are aroids. Monstera like to climb. They're what's called a hemiepiphytic plant. They want to climb trees, they want to climb walls, they want to climb anything they possibly can. If you give them something to climb on, they're going to mature a lot faster. They're going to put out bigger leaves with a lot more fenestrations, the little slits in them, and they are going to become amazingly, incredibly huge plants just by giving them something to climb. Next on our list is Syngonium. Syngonium can also go through a similar leaf transformation, but instead of adding slits to their leaves, they'll actually add little lobes. They'll add extra little ears, sometimes up to 5 different leaves total on these beautiful little leaves. It's incredible to see, definitely worth the time, but what you have to do to get them to do that is allow them to climb up something. So Syngonium also love to climb. They love to climb trees. They're pretty invasive depending on where you go and the variety of them, but also as they get to climb, not only do they get bigger, but they get more variegation. They get closer to a light so that they can provide more energy to them. They'll get bigger leaves, more leaves on those leaves, which are incredible to see. And they'll get more coloration. So if they have pink, you'll be able to see more pink. If they have white, you'll be able to see more white. It just depends on the specific variety of Syngonium you have, and there are a whole bunch out there. But definitely give your Syngonium something to climb and watch them transform. It's incredible. Another kind of plant that's absolutely going to transform if they get something to climb is a Philodendron. For example, Philodendron micans. You can see them get bigger and darker and more elongated, less heart-shaped, and more spear-shaped with their foliage, and it's going to be a deeper velvet color. You can also see a lot of other philodendron. If you give them something to climb, they'll go from these little spear shapes to a lot more jagged-edged, sawtooth-shaped plants. They can do a lot of different things, provided that you give them the energy to be able to do this. If you give them something to climb on, a little bit more stability, they definitely transform and be so much more than just these little heart-shaped vining plants. Another plant similar to philodendron with the heart-shaped leaves is a pothos. They can get massively huge, and like the monstera, they can grow fenestrations as well. So if you give them something to climb out in nature, they're always climbing trees, they'll climb buildings. They're actually very, very invasive, especially the golden pothos or Epipremnum aureum. Very, very invasive plant, and they will just climb like crazy. But they get these very large spear-shaped leaves, and they will get these amazing fenestrations in them as well. There's lots of theories as to why they get the fenestrations, but regardless, we love them. We think they look so cool. Definitely worth the time to actually take and give them something to climb in your home. Even if you're just leaning up against a board or a wall, you're going to see how big these leaves can get, and it's incredible. Scindapsus is an interesting one that's often confused with pothos because their leaves are similar, but Scindapsus usually have some type of a glitter or a sparkly type of variegation versus a marbling variegation, and their leaf shape is a little bit more heart-shaped, and it's a little differently. Scindapsus, when they're allowed to climb, will actually flatten themselves out on what they're climbing and go completely flat against a board or against a tree. They'll even sometimes wrap themselves around it, which is really, really cool to see. And they do what's called shingling. So it's a climbing process, but because of the way they flatten themselves out on it, it's called shingling. And it's really awesome to see. They can add a lot more sparkle, a lot more glitter. They can cover an entire board with this foliage as it goes up, not just in a vining, circling around kind of way, but an actual, the entire leaf flattens and attaches kind of way. It's super amazing to see. definitely worth the time. It's not something that you see in a household environment very often, so it can create a very unique accent piece in your home or a unique way to display this plant in your collection if you give them a chance to be able to climb. Another variety of plants that is very, very unique is Hoya. Hoya will actually climb trees as well. Generally, you'll see them like this one over here where they're hanging baskets of these plants. You'll see big voluptuous baskets and they look incredible. But what they can do is climb trees, and their leaves will transform as well. You can get a lot more texture, you can get a lot more color, you can get more sun stressing, they'll mature easier, they'll mature faster. You can get blooms faster if you allow them to climb, and their leaves are going to get much, much bigger. So you can have foliage literally the size of a dinner plate on a Hoya if you allow them to climb. It's really incredible to see, and not something that we see very often, unfortunately, with Hoya, but they are incredible, incredible plants, and I definitely guarantee that you will be amazed at what they can do and the benefits that you can have if you just allow them to climb the way that they're supposed to in nature. These are just a few very common houseplant varieties that everybody has that are readily accessible. There are definitely a lot more plants out there that can climb. I definitely recommend that you research every single plant that you have and see what it can do to live up to its potential. If it's a climbing plant in nature, then chances are it will enjoy climbing in your home. We can definitely make a secondary list if you want us to. Go ahead and drop comments down below and let us know. You can also check out indoorgardening.com. There's lots more information there, and we're always happy to help. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!